Welcome to the Future in 15 show. I'm host Caleb Parker. If you're tuning in for the first time, the Future in 15 show is 15-minute interviews with entrepreneurs and business leaders who are innovating within their company and creating the future of their industry. So we'd like to thank our sponsor, Shando's House. Shando's House is a Grade 1 listed Georgian townhome located right in the heart of Marylebone. And we're here today. Shando's House has 5 beautiful rooms, a garden terrace, which is right here behind us, and 17 amazing bedrooms. Shando's House is great for meetings, exhibitions, product launches, and receptions. Go to shandoshouse.co.uk. So today we have Damian Oracki here from Showslice. Damian is the CEO and co-founder of Showslice, and we're really excited to hear what he has to say. So Damian, welcome.
Thank you very much, man. And your Future in 15, right? Sounds like actually quite an awesome project. So I'm quite honored to be here, buddy. So thank you.
Thank you. It's good to have you. Really appreciate it. So as you know, we're all about technology, innovation, creating the future. Tell us a little bit about Showslice.
Okay. Well, Showslice is a startup in the event industry. We're a unique venue marketing platform that helps large event organizers share infrastructure costs back to back at one venue, so they can save on time and money, and also obviously have a more positive impact on the environment. And we do this simultaneously while we promote and sell the available dates at the venues.
Interesting. You mentioned the environment.
As in a nutshell.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. You mentioned the environment. Anything to do with sustainability there?
Yeah, well, actually, it's as a byproduct. You know, I believe all businesses should be sustainable. It should just be inherent in what they do. But I wasn't always into sustainability. I suppose I'm just a young chap trying to solve an old problem, really. I've been in the event industry for 10 years. Started off as a crewman, unloading trucks, building marquees all over London. Then got into health and safety and venue management. But what I did notice was we'd spend the whole day, at least 2 days on average, building an event, only to hold a 3-hour gig, then to de-rig that event, load out the next morning, and then stay at that venue for 2 hours later to work for a totally new production company to do exactly the same thing or similar. Staging, sound, lights,
Right,
it was AV, it was all.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Every
1,000 events going on in a London mile, and I would see this, and it would be frustrating. So, and then I would see other clients like Haymarket Media bringing their own events within their own network together, and then I'd see companies like Concerto Group that build a Christmas theme party and then sell it back to back to customers for Christmas parties. So I see this happen, but it didn't happen to the standalone events that all use the same infrastructure. So I started working on a communication platform that would break down the barriers of communication, allowing any event organizer to have the same sort of sharing ability that these big companies can do. And that's where Showslice came in. And then, obviously, the more events that share back to back, the less carbon emission there is on trucks, and the less labor that is required. And obviously, it's sharing of resources. So
So I want to touch on that for a moment. So you talk about sharing of resources, sharing of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Give me an example.
Well, I suppose we do it. The event industry has been doing it all the time. I mean, we share a venue's infrastructure, right? So one event after another one uses that same infrastructure. Showslice has just taken it another level, and we share a temporary infrastructure, an idea. So if someone's got an idea to do a middle stage setup at the Grosvenor, we then sell the available dates so that clients can share that same infrastructure. So what they do is the production company and the suppliers stay in there, re-quote for the labor and the logistics and other savings, for example, the venue build day, and then they share that to the denominator of the events that are sharing. Yeah. So if there's 3 events back to back, you can divide a lot of the cost by 3.
Okay.
And if you can do 5 events back to back, there's almost a 70% savings on venue setup and event setup.
Okay. So right. So are your clients then they're event organizers? Is that right?
Yeah. The word clients, I mean, stakeholders, it's what we're doing, what we're busy doing is actually quite complicated, and there's not just one client. The venues pay us commission, but we actually service the entire market. We like to see ourselves as the market. Okay, so we have event owners who own the events or the sponsors of events. Then you have the third-party agencies or the in-house planners of those owners. Then you have the production companies and suppliers, and then you have the venues. Those are the 4 main clients that we have, basically, in Showslice. We help the owners and agencies save money. and the venues still more space.
So give me an example then of how an event would be organized via Showslice.
Okay, well, let me first correct you there.
Oh, okay. Correct me.
Yeah, well, organize. We don't organize events, just like Airbnb doesn't own any accommodation or Uber doesn't own any taxi rides. Showslice does not plan any events.
Okay.
We are a communication platform that brings the market together or an industry together in a certain way.
Right.
They call it the so-called sharing economy, but it's a digital platforms that have now got into our assets and our time. So what people do with us, it's just like Airbnb. You go on Airbnb, it's basically like, hey, I've got a flat available this weekend in London. Cool, I'm coming to London. It's the same thing. Showslice does that. We say, hey, I'm building a marquee on a lake in Milton Keynes for an Asian wedding. Showslice then puts the available dates up, sells it to local businesses. And all the people are doing on Showslice is finding the date and saying, you know what, I like that idea. They got Dodgems in the corner, they got a marquee, we can have our event there. And then people press inquire, it goes to the venues, and then the venue sorts out the first stage and then puts them in touch with the suppliers to get the rest of the quotes.
Do you believe then that Showslice is just bringing a new spin of the sharing economy into the meetings world?
Yes. I mean, that's exactly what we are doing. It's like I said, it's always existed, and all we are is creating a platform. So like I told you, when I discovered Showslice, I was like, I started developing the platform 6 months in, and a friend of mine told me, this was about 3 years ago, said, have you heard of Uber and Airbnb? I had no idea. So I looked into this and I said, oh, there's a thing called the sharing economy. And it's these young millennials building these platforms where we can access our goods, our time, our services, our assets, you know. And that's when I was like, wow, I'm actually part of a movement, part of a trend. So, you know, I'm just trying to solve a problem that I noticed in the event industry, which organizers are not aware of.
You say disrupt the marketplace. I would challenge you that while you are disrupting the marketplace, there's probably a lot of people who don't want to be disrupted.
Yep.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, the sad thing is, I used to own a crewing company. So
it's pretty sad.
Yeah, because we are disrupting that market. Mm-hmm. Now, where you would have 10 crew for 10 hours to set up this award ceremony in central London, D-Rig, 10 crew for 10 hours, that would be 200 hours. Another award ceremony somewhere else, 10 crew for 10 crew for 10 D-Rig. That's 400 crew hours. Showslice is then turned into 2 events back to back, which is 10 crew for 10 hours to set up, 10 crew for 5 hours changeover for the branding, another 10 crew for 10 hours to break that down. It's 250 hours versus 400. So yes, but I've seen the wastes from the inside, and that's why I basically had to do this. So I sold my crewing company to start Showslice. Yeah, and I spent all of it, and a loan, and a max credit card.
It's very
all
bold.
That fun stuff.
Very bold of you.
Yeah.
You mentioned a few organizations earlier. Can you talk about some more of the organizations and some more examples that you've worked with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, charities have been quite keen to get involved. So NSPCC and Ubuntu Education Fund. And charities are good because they only do 1 or 2 big events a year. So they're very, they don't really have a preferred supplier, or they're changing the supplier from last year, and they want to save money. So they're quite keen. In terms of corporates, we have 2. Ricoh, the Ricoh company, so that's a Japanese electronics company.
Right.
Ricoh, we help them with the Princess Trust Awards that they do, a gala dinner that they do for charity, so it's a fundraiser. And Kawasaki, heavy industries, so that'll be 2 corporates, and then media companies. So now we have 2 types of clients. We have a buyer. This is a new term that I made up because I had to make sense of it. So we have a buyer supplier and a buyer buyer. Okay. And a buyer supplier is someone like, I suppose, Haymarket, who's a big media company, does hundreds of events, has preferred suppliers because they got a good deal with them. So they always use mostly the same venue and the same suppliers every year. We call them a buyer supplier because they're never going to use Showslice to get at the back of one of our other events, but they give us a supply of a first event idea that we can then resell the days afterwards. Okay. So those are buyer suppliers, always have, and that's the whole thing. Clients need to know that. If you've got your confirmed venue, still come to us. We're now actually getting more sales for the venue where they could never get sales because of the sharing.
So you're reaching a different market for them.
Yeah, I mean, the brewery is a great example. They do over 500 events a year in their Porter Ton. Porter Ton is one of the largest and oldest unobstructed venues in London. It's got 400 to 1,000 capacity. It's a beautiful little space. And they do over 500 events there because a lot of the infrastructure is left in. Very savvy venue management team has done that. And I mean, for example, one of our clients, they wanted their event on a Monday at Lancaster Hotel. So we were asking who's there early on because he wanted an evening event. But unfortunately, there was a pensions gala event there. And the organizer of the pension fund said, we don't need this elaborate set. We don't need the AV. And I said, like, okay, cool, there's no savings there, but will you take it? And I said, okay, we'll have it, but we don't want it. So they didn't pay for all that set. But my client was happy because he would have never been able to have his event on the Monday he wanted if the previous company didn't take the set that they had. So it's not just about savings, it's actually about getting in extra events. You know, there's another one on Park Lane that they have 16, I don't want to mention it, but they have 16 recurring events next year, okay, or this year. 16 recurring events.
Park Lane.
Yes, these are luncheons in the afternoon, but they can't till the evening because the set's been broken down. That's where we get more capacity for them.
So you sell the evening with the set as it is.
Yep, and you can get some discount on food and beverage as well because they would have never been able to sell.
Venue gets a new event, has revenue. Event organizer saves money because the set's already there.
Yep.
What are the challenges you're facing?
Yeah, it's telling the story. I mean, except for finance, because like every startup, it's all about cash flow. Any company really, but I would say it's telling the story. You know, event organizers they don't understand. They think, I've got an event book. I would never come at the back of someone's event. They don't know that. Give me a supplier of events. I mean, even Uber said when they launched in London, they said they needed to get as many cars on the road before they launched, right? To create that network effect. So when you go onto the Uber app, you're like, wow, look at all the cars around the area. So that's the biggest challenge. It's a chicken and egg scenario. You know, I feel like I would have to build half a chicken and half an egg to get this thing going, you know.
So Damian, tell me about your funding. Are you funded? Are you self-funded? Do you have VC backing? Are you raising capital? Where are you at?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, I sold a crewing my shares in a crewing company that I had, and ate through that really quickly. And then there was this little company called Barclays that gave me a credit card that I used as well, and I got further loan. And now we're actually starting to get our first round of investments. So we've got a supplier investment from a company. It's going to help us with marketing, and then we're either going to start a crowdfunding campaign in a couple of months, or we'll get some angel investment. But we've actually set ourselves up quite nicely now that we could last for quite some time without any money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I assume you have revenues as well.
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned a marketing partnership. Can you talk more about that?
Yes. I mean, I can't mention any names yet, but we're about to form a partnership. We'll be part of them. They're one of the UK's largest event media companies. So they're going to partner with us and to push. And they're basically giving us they're gonna be our big brother in the fight, really.
We're watching over you, big brother.
Yeah, but I mean that's our UK partners. In actual fact, I've got one of the largest venue marketing platforms in Germany that want to do what we do there, and I've got a partner in North America, one of the largest event companies that want to do what we do in North America. So what we need to do is focus. Which I see a shiny thing like Germany, everything's shiny, but no, we're going to focus on London. With these UK partners, get London working, get the UK working, and then in the next 2 years start branching out.
Well, that's a good segue for my last question for you, Damian. Okay. And that is, what is next for Showslice?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got over 130 venues on our platform now. They already put it on deals that we have not made active. So we're going to officially launch that towards the end of April. Once we acquire 1,000 London deals, we will open it up to buyers.
1,000 London, that's your vision right now, 1,000 London.
1,000 London deals for 2016 and onwards, where it's mostly from 4 months to 18 months lead time. So once we get that, then we're going to really just push it out. We don't have much Twitter, we don't have much social media presence just yet because we're laying low, we're getting those drivers,
Okay.
And then we're going to fire it out with our media partner, and the venues are very, very keen.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds amazing. I think the value that you're bringing to the ecosystem is fantastic. Certainly wish you best of luck. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Thank you for coming on the show.
You always boost my confidence. You always dress like me every time we meet.
You sent me the memo, and I thought, I'd just go ahead and, wear the, I forgot. Yeah, I know. Waistcoat, not vest.
Sorry. Yeah.
Damian, thank you.
Buddy, a pleasure, man.
Cheers.
Thank you.